Hey everybody, I am so excited to be here with you. Happy Friday or Saturday, depending on where you are. I'm so excited because I want to dive into a really important topic that I feel a lot of people struggle with, excuse me, when they're doing videos, and it's how do you increase audience engagement? Because I feel like when you don't have that audience engagement, whether it's likes or comments, that's the biggest reason people give up creating content and kind of give up on, creating courses and stuff because they don't have that engagement. They feel like they sound like everybody else. And it's how do you engage with your audience in a way with your videos or content or even in your online course. And so I want to talk about the 5 most important tips, I think, and even open up the discussion to see what is working for you and what's not working. And last week we talked about, being a thought leader, and I feel a big part of it is you have to be original in what you're saying, in the content that you're bringing, in the stories that you're sharing, and communicating in a way that is different. And that's part of being a thought leader, and part of activating that audience engagement is saying things that are different and not like regurgitating some of the same content frameworks and message that everybody else is talking about, because that's what sounds like the same thing. You just kind of go on like the checkout mode and you switch over. Ooh, also a side note, because I've been testing recording outside, and I got you on a stand, so I won't drop you this time. But one of my friends who's in filming gave me a really good tip that I'm testing out, and you'll have to let me know if this works, is take a lapel mic and hide it underneath your shirt to kind of reduce some of the wind and sound noises. So let me know if this works for you. Hey, Tanea! Oh my God, I haven't seen you in a while. Wait, this is your most watched live video. Yes, thank you. How you doing, girl? Hope you... So yeah, let's talk about diving into, really engaging your audience. And one of the first things is that, this is the Video Profit Lab, and it's important to create videos because a lot of people are watching videos, but it's just important to, create some kind of transcription or summary of what your video is talking about, to not ignore the people that just prefer to read. Or, one of my clients is a busy mom. She doesn't want to watch video. She prefers to get the, read the blurb and get the summarization of your video so that she's in and out. So you don't want to ignore your audience, whether it's in a video format or reading. So provide both. Oh, I miss your face too. We have to catch up. And so make sure that one way to increase engagement with your audience is to have a video, but also to have a summary or some kind of transcript somewhere so that they could, when you're asking for them to comment or share, then, they're reading it or if they're watching it. The tip number 2 is how you frame your videos. And there's really 4 steps to do. First one is to state the problem that your audience is having. And then 2, agitating the problem for them, to really paint that picture of what their pain is like, what they're struggling with, what their challenges are, what their deepest fears are that they talk about, that they don't talk about, and things that they may not be even aware of. And then step number 3 is, provide a solution, that first step, or even that first milestone of what they need to achieve. And step 4 is either to pitch your offer or a call to action, something that they can easily take action on or implement. And when you do this, it's really understanding your audience well and knowing what their biggest fears are, what their biggest desires are, and speaking in a way that people aren't talking about. And that's why it's important to not only know your audience, but also it's important to do the market research. What are people saying? What are people not saying? And, whether it's your competitors in the marketplace, find out what people are talking about and do something different. Say things differently. Talk about things in a different way. That's what being a thought leader is. It's taking what your audience needs to hear and changing up and that's what marketing really is all about. It's using different language, talking about maybe some of the same things in new ways. And so when you use that framework, it allows your people to not only it builds really instant authority because you're talking about their fears, you're talking about what they're struggling with, and the possibility of connecting them emotionally with the possibilities of what they can create. And that's where, content isn't anything unless you use stories. And I talked about this in some of my free trainings, but when you incorporate relevant training or stories in your content, or a case study, the before and after, that is specifically relevant to the content and ties into the content, really makes it real for your audience, because then it puts them into whatever content you're talking about. Because sometimes when you're talking about some things that are conceptually or theory, it's you kind of lose your people there. So when you tie in a story or an experience, whether it's your story or your clients or your customers, and saying this is what they did, this is their transformation, and you can really break it down into the daily tangible, how it tangibly affects that person in not only in their day-to-day life. That is going to be really powerful. And how you tie into your story, into your content, it brings what you're talking about to life for your people. And that's one of the things people, I feel, miss out, is really sharing their life and story in their content and in with their audience. And when you combine sharing your story with your personality is a big thing. And that's tip number 4 is be more you on your video. Be more, if you're bubbly, bring that bubbliness to your video. If you have that sense of humor or your quirks, you want to incorporate that in your videos, because that's really powerful for your audience to see you. And it's important to share your struggles with your audience, because they're struggling too. And when you can say, nobody wants somebody to oh, I'm amazing and awesome and I have this awesome approach, you're not going to connect with your audience on that level. It's when you can share where I fell flat on my face, when last week when I dropped the phone, people connect with the struggle. And when you can vulnerably share it, it's being that humble servant. That's what's going to really connect with your audience versus, being on a preachy and saying, oh, I'm awesome. Nobody connects with that. And the 5th tip is repurposing your content. So let's having it either being a guest post, using it in some kind of a freebie or a lead magnet, and repurposing, sharing it with other people's audiences. And that also will increase audience engagement. So I want to hear from you guys too, to share what really is working for you to increase your audience engagement. And, one of the things I've learned to do, and one of the challenges I have for you is, who are some of the people or experts that you follow? And what makes that, what is it specifically about them that really draws you to them, whether it's their blog posts, their emails, or their videos, whatever that is. What is it that really stands out to you that makes you that really draws you and magnetizes you to that speaker, to that expert, and really getting clear and defining what it is that magnetizes you to the people that you follow, to their videos, to what kind of language they use. How do they engage with their audiences who have engaging audiences, who have people who like a lot of their stuff, who have a lot of people who are commenting on their stuff? What do they do, and how do they act? How do they present? And what are they doing? And seeing, because again, I feel like everything is a mirror in our worlds. So when you're attracted or engaged by somebody else, you have that within yourself. And it's about activating it, and it's about intentionality and bringing it into your videos, bringing it into your content, bringing it into your courses and everything that you create, because that's what's going to really activate that audience engagement. And you have to be intentional about it. You have to, again, it's a practice, it's a discipline. And it's something that you have to condition. It's something that you have to consistently work at, because it's not something that we're all innately born with. And that's the thing, is leaders are developed, and you have to develop these skills of how to powerfully engage with your audience, because, that's, again, it's a skill that you have to kind of condition and train yourself. And that's what's going to set you apart from being an amateur or being a pro. And I think, we're all in this group to start to be leaders, to be pros, and, do something different and meaningful. And that's always going to, that's going to have to be conditioned, that's going to be practiced. And so in the comments below, I want to hear from you. What has been your biggest insights, takeaways from the training, but also what are some of the things that you've noticed that either has worked for you that increases audience engagement, and what hasn't worked audience engagement. So I want to start this conversation because it is so important for us to learn and grow from each other and support each other. And of course, because audience engagement is everything. So love you guys so much. I can't wait to continue the conversation in the comments below. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Let's get into some trouble and let's make some stuff happen. Love you.